Coach, obviously went down to Tallahassee this past weekend. We'll start with general comments about the game. Then we open up for questions. Coach.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Had an opportunity to go down to Bragg Stadium and face an athletic and traditionally very good Florida A&M team, and I thought we had a great week and a half of practice leading up to the game. I thought our guys were locked in, and I liked where we were. We came out. I thought both sides of the ball we played well in the first half. We got off to a good start. We were up, I think, 28-0 going into halftime. Came out in the third quarter and our headsets went out. So offensively, we had some issues with communication, trying to get plays called and things of that nature. So Coach Leone had to come out of the box, and I think that kind of broke our momentum a little bit. But overall, I thought Walker Harris was efficient, very efficient with the football, 21 of 27. And then defensively, I thought that was probably our best game of the year all around. I thought we did a really good job of stopping the run, holding those guys just 43 yards of rushing. And then I thought our back end played well. But when our defensive line plays as well as they did with their run fits, as well as getting a pass rush on their quarterback, it really helped our back end out. So we had a lot of young guys out there playing this week. It was really good to see them have some success. Lionel Burns at the corner, and then Jazeer Dukes. They both had an opportunity to start this week. Two young guys. So it was really good to see those guys play well and, continue to develop depth. But special teams, we did have a bad snap, but overall, I thought our special teams play was solid this week. Caleb Robinson did an outstanding job with his kickoffs. We had several touchbacks. So that makes coverage a lot easier when you have a kicker that can kick the ball at the end zone. But overall, it was great performance. I was really pleased to see that we got a little bit better this week. So, I preach it all the time. It's all about improving week by week. But great team win. Great job by the coaching staff. And it's good to get back here to Durham and have a week off.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm well, Lawrence. How you doing today?
I'm good. A lot of people when they talk about the running game, they talk about running backs, offensive linemen, passing game, quarterbacks, receivers. But over the last three games, you've got a lot of production out of Rodney and Luke. Kind of talk about what your tight ends bring to your schemes as far as blocking, being able to also be able to get in the field and run routes, and just being so versatile.
Yes, I think like the tight ends position, we're like the unsung hero, and we play with a lot of tight ends, multiple packages with those guys, and when you have good stout tight ends like we do, and our coach, Coach Tony Spencer's done a great job of developing those guys. Now Luke Brace has been out for the last 2 weeks, 2 games, I should say, and we're hopefully we'll get him back here in the near future. But the way we've developed guys, and you see Kyle Morgan have an outstanding year, and then also Rodney LaGrange. He was a walk-on that had to come in and start in a couple of our packages this week. And, he had his first touchdown of his career. And it was really good to see because I think in camp, Rodney struggled catching the ball. And I was telling Leone, man, don't throw the ball back to that kid. But, he really improved. And that's what it's all about. When you see guys develop and are getting better. And, he's been catching the ball well in practice. So, we went to him in the game and, he made a big play. And blocking on the edge, I thought Rodney did a great job. Kyle is very physical. And, I give my credit to O-line all the time, but, great point you're making. The tight ends did an outstanding job. And the receivers, I saw Quentin McCall straining on Christian Mosley's long touchdown run. And Quentin McCall blocked the defensive back, off the sideline. So, when guys are fighting and playing hard, even when the ball's not coming to them, they're being great teammates, and that's how you're successful in win games.
And last question, Coach, kind of moving forward to this week, does having 2 bye weeks in 3 weeks kind of ruin momentum? Because I know you just talked about having, one of your best performances. Would you rather just go ahead and get back out there, or does this provide another opportunity to rest, recover, and kind of solidify schemes?
The scheme is a scheme. I mean, we're going to do what we do week in and week out. We might tweak something here or there, make a couple adjustments, but, no team is going to make a whole lot of wholesale adjustments mid-season, but we've got to get some guys back. Like I said, Luke Bracey is somebody that's been out that we're counting on, and he's been down. DJ Estes, the defensive back's been down, and there are several other guys. AC McMorris is down, so we've had a lot of guys banged up that have been out and lost significant playing time. But like we talk about the twos and threes, and that's why I try to play young guys early on. When games get out of hand, so we can develop those guys. So now we're in a situation where we need them, and it's not a culture shock. They're not in awe when they have to go into the game. So they're ready, and that's a testament to our coaching staff and those guys. Again, developing players.
All right, Coach. Actually, Coach, I have a question. One of the things you mentioned that Coach Leone had come down to the field because of headset issues. Is that something we might see more of, or that just maybe just because of the headset?
No, absolutely not. Coach Leone likes to call plays from the box. It's you've been up there. It's when you're up in the box, it's an eerie feeling because you don't hear the noise, you don't hear the band, you don't hear the crowd, and it's like you're isolated. You see everything in slow motion. It's kind of like playing a video game. And sometimes you wish you could just, touch somebody on the field and talk to them. But, obviously, you got to be able to see what's going on from up top. And, that's where he's comfortable. So that's where we'll leave him. But, when he's calling plays and nobody on the sideline can hear you, it was very difficult. So I opted for, we'll give up the great view and all that stuff. But communication was key. So he came on down and called the game from down there until we got the headset situation fixed late in the third quarter.
No, Coach, I understand. I don't know how people watch the game from the field. Honestly, I have no idea. I can't stand it down there. Coach, you talked a little bit about Rodney and the touchdown he caught in his play and just the offensive line as a whole. I mean, the last couple of games, they kind of like held their own for the most part. Can you just talk about how they just continuously get better week after week?
Well, it's a pride thing. First and foremost, those guys take pride in their work. And, Coach Mack does, good job with the continuity and chemistry within that group. A lot of, the O-line are the unsung heroes. Nobody talks about them and they don't get player game balls and all that stuff traditionally. But we praise them here. And, they take pride in being the best. And they're one of the most close-knit units on our team. But, I challenge them every week. As they go, we go. As our D-line goes, we go. And if we can't stop anybody up front and we can't run the ball up front, we're going to have a long day. So they take pride in their work. And our lead dog is Noah McKinney and, Sprinkle and those big guys, and they do an outstanding job. And like I said, when we turn the film on and we show the highlights in here from the team, those guys get after it. They're a physical group.
Coach, the last bye, you talked about getting rest and trying to get some guys back. When you think about the bye week and going into FAMU, did you see everything you wanted to see out of a team coming out of a bye?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's our fourth road game in a row. And, we haven't played at home in a long time. And, you traveling to Dallas one weekend and then 2 weeks later you're going down to Tallahassee. That's quite a long trip for our fans. So, it's us against the world. We're going down there and playing FAM at their place, and we don't have a big, huge following down there. I appreciate the ones that did show up. A lot of parents were there, but the guys, didn't listen to all the noise, and they were locked in, focused in a hostile environment. And I thought we played well. I was very pleased with our focus. We did have a couple of penalties that will get cleaned up, but overall, I thought we had that game in hand as soon as we got off the bus.
Now, Coach, let's turn the page to the defense side of things. And I feel like this is something we've talked about every Monday. Once again, I'm looking at the rushing yards. Defense held another team under 50 yards rushing. FAM had 43 yards rushing, and that for the total offense, they had only 197, and we had 195 rushing on our own. Talk about the defensive line and the job that defense is doing overall.
They're gelling. And we've had a lot of, we had to plug and play a lot of guys at several positions. From D-line, we had some guys that got banged up, and we had to change up the lineup a little bit, and then linebackers, and in the secondary. Malcolm Reed went down with the severe leg injury, and he's out for the season. So, it was a lot of guys that we had to plug and play. And, the big thing I think defensively is guys got to be on the same page with what they see as far as communication, coverage checks, and things of that nature. So communication is key. And a lot of times while the play is going on, you don't have time to talk and verbalize things. A lot of it's eye contact, hand signal and something real quick, and the ball's being snapped. So, you got to be on the same page. If not, it's going to be explosive plays. And early on, we gave us some explosives, and I thought that we played much better defensively. Early in the season, we played an extremely tough schedule, non-conference. So, the guys got tested. But again, like I say, you get better every week, and that's what we've really worked to do. They knew it was unacceptable for us giving up, big numbers in the rushing game. So they take pride in what they do and take pride in stopping the run. And Up front, Thomas Johnson is our lead dog with our D line, and Wisdom Sims, defensive tackle. He doesn't get enough credit because a lot of folks want to just look at stats, but this is the guy that disrupts the whole entire game. Against FAM, they couldn't run the ball because he was so disruptive. And then getting a great pass rush. I think the interception that Christian Smith had, another D lineman, Wisdom, tipped the ball. So, the guys the unit is coming together, they're gelling, and it's time for us to start peaking at the right time.
Coach, think about that interception that Christian got. I watched the play. I was from the press box. You were down there a little closer. Can you talk about your thought process, like when Wisdom kind of tipped it, Christian caught it, tried to run, fumbled it, we dive on it. That whole process was just so much going on. What were you thinking about at that time?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I got the plays mixed up. The one that Wisdom tipped, Jelani Vassell intercepted, and then this is right here. D linemen were twisting, and we talked about the ball finds energy, and the ball was tipped to the back end. Christian went from rushing the passer to turning and running to chase the ball. The ball was tipped twice, and he came down with it. And it didn't stop there. Then he fumbled. But we were able to recover it, and that was a huge play. And that let us continue to, keep the momentum and keep it rolling.
Coach, you always talk about having a thermostat mentality, not too high, not too low. I mean, the guys have won 4 in a row, going into a bye, then you get homecoming right after that. How do you keep the team level? Like, okay, guys, look, the season's just started. And I think you talk about it before. I heard you talk about it before. We're 5-2, but that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, unfortunately, I appreciate the efforts and how we've played thus far, but we haven't done anything or accomplished anything. It's all about conference play, and 5-2 is a great record, and a lot of folks would love to have a 5-2 record right now out of conference, but that will not win us a championship. So obviously, we starting off with Delaware State. That's the first one of 5. We'll take it one game at a time, definitely. But obviously, everybody in the world knows that you got to win 5 games to win a conference. We'll definitely take it one game at a time. But I'm excited about starting conference play. I think we were battle tested. We played a lot of great opponents non-conference. But now this is where you make your money right here.
Well, Coach, thinking about the bye and going into the bye, obviously, getting everybody healthy is the main goal. I know you said you wanted last at the post game. You said you want to get your nap in. Hopefully, you got your nap in. Can you talk about like any other big picture things you really want to try to horn in on during the bye week?
Yes, obviously the getting these guys healthy is the our focal point. We have 3 community service activities we have this week. Every guy on our team is going to do a community service project. So our motto here at North Carolina Central is truth and service, and we really want to reach out and give back to our community. And there's so much going on in the world today with all the violence and the senseless tragedies and all this other stuff. Hopefully we can put a smile on a young person's face, or go see some of our senior Eagles and then put a smile on their face. But it's real important for us to give back to the community and stay engaged with that. And also, lastly, making sure we're on top of our schoolwork. Exams are going to be coming up here shortly, and we cannot be behind. And our guys have done an exceptional job academically since I've been here. Team GPA is over 3.0, and we're striving for another perfect score of 1,000 on that APR. So although it's a quiet week with football, we'll still be very active in the community and on campus.
All right, Coach, that's all I have. Anything else you want to leave us with before I let you go?
We'll rest up this bye week. I hope everybody's safe during these homecomings. And to the media, I appreciate what you all do and the coverage you all have given us. And we're excited about this bye week and getting ready to go into homecoming week. We're excited. So we'll see you guys next week.